made by Aileen Roldan. The howls of the wolf ran through my spine. I grabbed Giselle's hand and held it tight to my chest. She tried to pull it away, but I didn't let her. The road looked like it was never ending. The bumps on the road made me jump out of my seat. I looked at the windows, one by one. Each time I looked, it was always the same. Dark, leaves falling down, no stars that shine home. My father looked calm, but I could feel his pain. The car slowly died down. I crept up from my seat and saw my mother looking around. "What happened?" Giselle questioned. "I don't know. I just saw the tank full," my dad replied. "At least we still have light," my dad exclaimed, but he spoke too soon. The darkness had already covered the sky, but now the car. "We're going to die," Giselle shrieked. "Honey, don't worry. Look, there's a town right there," my mother shouted. "Where did that come from?" I asked. As we walked towards the town, there were spooks on every corner. This time, Giselle was holding onto my hand. I turned around and walked back to the car. "Where do you think you're going?" my mom asked. "I am not going anywhere near that ghost town," I snapped. "My mom gave me that. I'm the boss of you and do what I say, look." I sighed and went towards the town. "Ah!" Giselle shrieked, pointing at something. I groaned and I looked at everyone's faces, and they were speechless. Their eyes looked like they had popped out of their head. I pushed them aside, feeling Giselle's cold body. I froze. I wish I could turn back time and never saw what I had just witnessed. There in front of me was a dead skeleton body. My heart felt as if it was pounding out my chest. I shook my head and shook Giselle. She slowly sobbed. My mom finally realized what was wrong and helped my dad. As we went looking for shelter, I saw something move. A shadow. I turned my head, and it was gone. We passed an old church and saw the cemetery. I wiped my forehead. "Ew, I'm all sweaty," I thought to myself. I then saw the same shadow, and I bit my nails. They were super salty. I ran towards my family since I was way behind. We had officially passed the cemetery and got back on the path. Finally, there were more buildings. "We should go inside that house," my dad said assuringly. He pushed me and Giselle toward the house. My mom was right beside me. Creak! The door must have been very old and hasn't been used. I thought to myself. Whoosh! A swarm of bats flapped out of the house. "Ah!" Giselle shrieked. I wish I could put duct tape over her mouth. I went inside and saw a red, oozing liquid running down the walls. I vomited inside my mouth, but I choked it down. But it left an unlikely tasting in my throat. I looked at Giselle, and I noticed that she was looking at the same wall. She started to whine, and then she ran like a bull towards her parents. I groaned. I then made my way towards our parents, too. The oozes made my hair go up and jump all around. I heard Giselle whine and stomp her foot, and her screaming, "I want to get out of here!" "We should stay here for the night," my dad said, looking around. I shrugged and went upstairs. I looked all around, and I just saw dust bunnies. My sister had already beat me in finding the bedroom. She was on her phone. I guess she was trying to find cell service. "Any luck?" "No," Giselle wailed. "We're stuck here, and my junior prom is next week." I rolled my eyes and took my deep breath. I ignored whatever Giselle was saying, and I covered my ears. I must have covered it real good because I only heard moaning. I looked at Giselle, but she had her mouth closed. I took my hands off my ears, but I still heard the moaning. I wish it was my imagination and it wasn't really happening. I then saw a shadow, but not Giselle's. It was staring me down. I wish I could hear. Wish I could talk, but I couldn't. Giselle turned her head. Her jaw dropped. She snatched my hand and pulled me downstairs towards Mom and Dad. "What's wrong?" "Giselle, Harley!" my mom cried. "We need to get out of this house. I may not be in the advanced class in school, but I am 99.9% positive that this house and town is haunted," Giselle yelled. My dad nodded. We ran out of the house like a swarm of angry bulls running towards a target. There were no signs of cars to be seen. The road started to go into the forest. The wind was pushing against our bodies. It was like playing tug-of-war with the wind. Sadly, in this battle, the wind has won. As we kept on running, what felt like hours were only a few minutes. The trees looked exactly the same, so we didn't even know if we were going in circles. My body finally gave up, and I fell to the ground. Thank goodness it was only a train. I gasped. We were no longer in that wretched old forest. I was home. The sun was up. "Carly, time to wake." "Oh, you're already awake," my mom exclaimed. I was in bed. I sighed in relief. I took my blanket and went downstairs and onto the driveway. I smiled and told my dad, "Hey, make sure you have a full tank of gas for the road trip."